$672.24.
I second that.
All right, all in favor? I'll move.
Now, there's some other things here below the bills, the extra totes and abatements, that's also an amount that needs to be voted on
Yeah,
as
so,
well.
yeah, everything is,
Okay.
here are those, here are the minutes. So everyone, just so we didn't skip one by accident, one didn't get slipped behind, I have a sticky on everything that needs to be signed.
Oh, that's helpful.
Right?
Very good.
Okay. All right, next is trash abatements.
I think we missed one, Steve, in the amount, and that was for the extra truck.
Extra totes,
And the,
120.
oh, yeah, the 120.
Abatements, no, we got the abatements.
All right, so
120, do I have a motion?
Motion to,
Second. All in favor?
Those are the abatements.
Okay.
And then these are the commitments, the extra truck commitments. Everything is labeled and signed.
Okay.
These are the minutes from revised October 29th and the minutes from November 15th. We saved for that little blurb. Just-
What about trash abatements?
Trash abatements, yep.
Have we checked on, these are all vacant renovations?
Uh-huh, I have all backup. The backup is with the originals. I sent you the backup in your packets, I believe.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right. Any discussion on the abatements?
discussion for me.
I make a motion that we approve the abatements in the amount of $778.62.
Second. All right, all in favor? Vote. All right. We're going to discuss and approve the health agent position.
Do we do the
In other
minutes
words.
No, no.
And by approve the health agent position, you mean approve the posting for the
Yes.
job opening?
Yep.
All right, what do we have for? We have a draft job posting.
If there's something that you wanted to add to it, Stacy said that just to write it on your own little packet, and then she'll add it or delete it.
Okay, is there any discussion on the job description?
The only thing I'm not saying, if I've missed it, is just like, the reporting to the Board of Health. Meaning the tasks that have been completed, like as far as monthly, not just applications report, but an actual, like, checks and balances. Did I miss it?
I don't think that would be in the job description, I think
Yeah, I'm not
that
too
when
sure
you,
that's necessary for a
Yeah.
job description.
Oh, for a posting, not for a posting.
Not for a
Yeah,
posting? Okay.
That would be something we work out with the.
Yeah.
Yeah. We feel, I don't see anything about, let me double check here a second.
if you haven't already signed in, please, there's a sign-in sheet.
Sure.
And there's agenda, and there's also regulations that you can,
Take the coffee?
if you want, yep.
We're coming up on 6 o'clock for the public hearing, so
But
they can,
Oh, that clock's wrong.
how long is it?
it's
No,
an hour.
Don't worry, in a few months we'll be right. Only question I have on job description is it necessary for us to include, the, pool operator, CPO, certification?
I think so, with the one that's approved.
I think it's worth putting in there.
Yeah.
I don't know that you're gonna get somebody with all that.
I mean, we could also add in, because I don't think it is there, a lot of times, when the job postings do go out, there's a stipulation that if they don't have it, they will obtain it within a certain period of time.
But isn't that, Scott, kind of along with what I had said about the reporting, wouldn't we do that in the, contract itself? I mean, I've seen it both ways, to be honest with you, on the, job descriptions.
Could go either way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
With that. Thoughts?
you happy with that?
I have with it.
You happy with it?
I'm happy with the draft, yes.
All right, motion?
So let's make a motion to, accept the draft as presented and to post.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? All
Scott,
right.
you made that motion?
Oh, sure.
Second it.
We'll post that, post the job opening immediately. All right, we can,
Well, I would just the
DNA.
minutes.
We need to hit the VNA report too.
Oh, yeah, the VNA report. It's just,
it's information.
I think you have it in your packet.
Mhm.
It's one of the
Yeah.
ones.
All right. Moving right along.
Yeah, pass everything down and I will.
Yeah.
My signatures.
We will open the public hearing.
I just looked at it, that's not on the agenda, is it, this here? I don't know if I can solve that.
What's that?
Yeah, it's under 20.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, that was it.
All right,
Yes.
at this point, we will close the public meeting and open the public hearing session, not reconvene. hearing is now open to discuss, consider proposed revisions of the tobacco control regulations. Proposed revisions include sale of tobacco products to minors. This proposed addition would raise the minimum legal sales age for tobacco and vaping sales in the town of Rockland. Full copy of the proposed regulation is available at the Board of Health, and I believe there's copies of it on the desk over there. The public hearing is open. Do I hear any discussion from the board?
Did we have a vote to close it? What time is that at?
5:05.
Before the meeting started, a couple of the people in the audience wanted to know why the Board of Health wanted to do it now, before year end.
What's that?
The, change our tobacco regulations.
Let me go get Kathy.
Is Kathy here?
Yeah, go get her.
Let's grab her so we have
Yes.
the
She's
expert opinions.
Yes.
Have you had a chance to go through? Okay. We
Not yet.
we haven't heard of it.
Okay, so that is done.
We're in public hearing now.
Public hearing.
Public hearing. And we have members of the public here. I think we have a presentation coming from Kathy Mahoney. Who is not here yet. Has everybody got a copy of what we're proposing?
The regulations are on the desk.
First up is Kathy Mahoney.
Hi, everybody.
Some interested parties here who would like some more information.
Okay, about why we're switching to 21 before the end of the year. The reason is, if we don't switch before the end of the year, when it comes January 1st and it goes to 21, there'll be people grandfathered in. So 18, 19, 20, so we see that this will be very, very confusing for the clerks who are trying to figure out who's old enough and who's not. So that's our main reason to make it right across the board to be 21 now. So if we don't change it before December 30th, we can't change it till January 1st. So, you know, kind of when, if the clerk says, all right, they come in, they have to check to see all the different dates. So we're trying to avoid any situation that they would possibly sell to a minor. Plus, not to mention all the health reasons for getting the age up there sooner than later. So these kids that have less of a chance of being addicted to nicotine.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Okay, so, presentation's pretty brief, the regulation's pretty self-explanatory. Basically what it amounts to is by acting as the local board of health, we can make these regulations effective immediately. Which is the difference between what the state wants to do is that it's gonna come in on January 1st.
Yes.
When the state regs come in, if we haven't acted, what the state will do is grandfather in 18-year-olds until the final, for 3 years, until those 18-year-olds turn 21. That's what happens. My guess is that would create a ton of confusion for merchants.
And it has, I know when I've gone in to speak about it, a lot of the merchants are for, let's go for 21 now, because it's just too confusing to further down the line to look at the different ages.
So, the short, sweet version. You got any questions? Any comments?
No questions. I'm leaning more on the health side of it.
Mm-hmm.
The sooner we rip the Band-Aid off, so to speak,
Right.
the less chance of having the ones that would be grandfathered in, really get sucked into the habit.
Exactly.
It is, we all know, it's very addictive, nicotine. And no matter vigilant the clerks are, you know, there are cigarettes and tobacco products in general are getting to the hands of those younger than 18. So if we move the age up, I believe it's Belmont, it's 25, is that correct?
I didn't see that. I do have all the ones that have gone to 21 here and a couple more
I think
added.
Belmont, no?
I'm pretty sure we would have heard about that.
No, I think it's 20, it
We'll
has
run that
21
research.
here.
Is it?
Yeah.
Maybe it's something else then.
And
It's up to 25.
again, two towns last night went to it as well. As they hear more about it, they just want to be, you know, proactive for the youth so they're not getting addicted. Let's do this now so there's less confusion. And as you said, let's rip off the Band-Aid now and switch to 21.
Maybe actually save some lives going
Oh.
forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And the regulations will take effect December 20th.
Yes.
It's a month from today.
20th.
Oh, December 20th?
Yes.
So after 20th, do we have like any signage or something?
Thank you for asking. That's what I'm gonna be doing, once this is passed. I'm gonna be going into every retailer in Rockland. I'll give you all the new signage that will go up as of December 20th. I can explain the regulations. I'll drop off a copy of the new regulations, so you have everything and you're prepared. If you have any questions, I'm there to help you out.
Okay.
Okay, Vicki, any comments?
I'm in favor of moving forward with this.
Okay, how about the audience?
Just
Any
one,
questions?
is this all inclusive, like vaping,
Yes.
e-cigarettes, the whole 9 yards?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
thanks.
Yeah, I've been to, I've had occasion to be at several Board of Health meetings, different towns, and the town of Plymouth had a Board of Health meeting, and they were attended by, I think, the entire middle school. And every one of the kids was talking about vaping as as something that they see in school, even though they're not supposed to. So it's like, that's the new way to get addicted to nicotine.
Yes.
And I would say what I saw with the kids was the majority of them are saying, look, we know it's bad, you know, just, you know, it should be 21. And that gets it, what that does, it gets it out of the schools.
Yes.
Because there's not a few kids in high school that are 21.
Right, and, yeah, you are right, in the school it is very popular, and these kids, when I've talked to some of them, they say, well, no, it's not harmful at all. They don't know how much nicotine is in the Juul or in vaping, and so that's what we're gonna try doing, is educate them. As you said, if we can get to 21, there's not gonna be 21-year-olds in the high school, and hopefully we can help from there. And hopefully, we can do something about that as well, because they just don't think that it's harmful at all, and it's quite scary.
My name is Rich Dakotas. I'm co-owner of Lifestyle Vape. Although that a raise of age to 21 plus will affect my bottom line, I'm not opposed to it at all. I do not think children should have these products at all. But I do think it's a little unfair to not have a grandfather date. I really do. To just sweep the rug out from underneath people who use these products as a safer alternative to cigarettes and combustible tobacco. That's my only problem with, like, I'm not opposed to 21 plus. I think it's a good idea. But there's people that are 18, 19, 20 years old, and they're just gonna go to other towns. You know what I mean? That are 18 plus.
The way it's looking, if they can find one.
Yeah.
If you can find one.
Yeah.
So
So
Abington, East Bridgewater,
Abington, East
Middleborough,
Bridgewater, exactly,
Abington's
Quincy.
21, isn't it, Kathy?
Quincy.
Now, do you have
Abington.
a list of which town is 21 and not 18?
I have a list, yes. And this is, as I said, more towns just went to 21. I believe Abington's one, Hingham just went.
Pembroke recently.
Yep, Pembroke is,
Yeah,
so,
Plymouth
and
did.
Plymouth is going.
Just from our own experience though, so we have a store in Brockton.
Yep.
And we were one of the first ones to go 21 plus. Now, Brockton did 21 plus, then they made it so the convenience stores couldn't sell flavors. They also put a moratorium on tobacco sales licenses. So, you know, they were really, it was more of a bigger effort to stop the availability of the tobacco products. But what we saw, you know, is West Bridgewater was 18 plus. So the guy that we were in direct competition with
Right across
just
the town
took,
line.
oh yeah, took all the business, and with our business in particular, the only reason we're even here, we're not a convenience store, this is all
No,
we
it's
sell.
just- yeah.
We're adult-only retail.
And when we first opened our stores, there were no kids using our products. It was clearly, like right when you walk in, stop smoking, start vaping. Our entire demographic was just people in their mid-20s to early 30s, 40, 50 plus that wanted to quit smoking. And both of us are ex-smokers. Now, I mean, I get it where they're like alarmed with kids, now they don't start smoking anymore, they start vaping, where when we were kids, we just started smoking. And, I understand, past the law, it might help, the smoking levels are so far down now, but you see that thing up there, that's what makes people not smoke. The facts, the facts of smoking make people not smoke. Everyone knows somebody that's died from smoking, everybody knows someone that has emphysema, so that's what's gonna, the cigarette narrative is just, it's just going down in ashes. But, that's what I think's gonna happen. The people are just, and what happens is too, you have a 20-year-old guy, and he hangs around with a few guys that are 22, 23 years old, and they say, well, hey, we gotta go out and get some vape products. Well, we can't go to Rockland now. We gotta go to East Bridgewater. And, and then with that, there's, the people get acclimated to going to that store, and we just lose the business. And, we're small business owners. We're not, we're not affluent people here. And,
I understand that.
and they, and it just takes the money out of, and then that business grows exponentially. They end up being able to buy things at a higher volume, they end up being able to lower the price, and then they take out 25 to 30, so you see, it doesn't just happen in a vacuum. Then they end up getting more and more, and then they grow, and it's just, and that's what we see, but there was a state initiative, 21 plus, and we're with, we're on a federal level, we're part of like these like advocacy groups, and we fight for like the right for adults to use flavored products, because that seems to be where things are tilting. Now, we all use flavors to quit smoking, but people say, no, that's what the kids want, and then they're trying to like take those away from us as well, and that's just, not even as a business owner, as somebody who uses vaping products. But on the advocacy level, they wanted to fight the statewide 21 plus. And Rich and I were we were just like, as a statewide initiative with an even playing field, we're fine with it. We really are, because honestly, like when somebody comes in, we know that younger people get their hands on this. We have my sister's a teacher in the middle school. My other friend, and they buy the products online. They have one guy that's like that buys all these products, and I'll tell you, growing up as a kid, I smoked cigarettes, I drank alcohol, and I smoked pot. Pot was probably the easiest thing for me to get, but I never had a problem getting any one of them, honestly. But because there was a black market created, I just knew the guy who had it, and that's what's happening with vaping too. My friend's son, he went into his room and unhatched like this treasure trove of vaping products that his kid's selling to other kids. So that's, and he's telling me about it, and I'm like, well, he's not getting it from me, obviously.
No, he's right, actually.
And
That's
it's
a
like-
20-year-old or 18-year-old come and buys it.
Yeah, and that's what you're looking at, and just think about it, how easy is it to get a buyer for alcohol as a teenager, but then turn that into something as, as what she was talking about, how people look at it, vaping as benign, like it's just vaping, they're not smoking, so any 21-year-old is gonna buy it for a kid, and it just creates like this huge black market. So obviously it feels good past the law, but the other end of this too is, you're gonna pass a regulation, like what about enforcement? Anyone that works for me knows you're fired if you sell to someone underage, whether you guys catch them or we do.
Right.
And that's 110%. So then we have one guy, I don't wanna swear, but one guy in town, and every kid knows about whoever that guy is that will sell underage, well then they just pile in there. So and in the other towns that we're in, and I don't know, you could reach out to the other boards of health that we're in 5 towns. we passed multiple of those secret shoppers, and they send in a guy that looks over 18 or 21 to bust us. And we caught him every time. Passed every single one, never yielded a fine. So I mean, I just feel like sometimes when you pass these regulations, people like us get kind of hurt more, because we're just, whatever she comes in and does with it, we're just gonna go lock, stock, and barrel, we're gonna do it. I mean, is it gonna put us under in Rockland? I mean, I don't know. It could. It definitely is gonna bring, we saw a drastic drop in Brockton, and we've recovered it since then, but I mean, you do see, and Rockland is a slower store to begin with, so I mean, you see the drop. So I mean, I do think that you have a statewide initiative.
Yep.
It's going to 21 plus.
Right.
And like I said, we're not against that.
Right.
But the patchwork thing is just, I just don't see why not just go with that. And on top of all of that, the FDA is on this. There's gonna be federal regulations passed down, there's gonna be state regulations passed down, and to just create more obstacles for small business owners to navigate, I mean, it's just a disservice to people trying to do business. That's
Okay,
it.
thank you.
Thanks.
Good. In the back row, you had something, you had a comment.
No, no, sir, yeah, he explained what I was thinking, so,
Okay.
thank you.
DJ, did you?
Do you want to introduce DJ?
Yes, who would like to speak?
Hi, I'm DJ Wilson, Tobacco Control Director of Mass Municipal Association.
Step right up.
Got it. Sorry I'm late, 2 hours from the North Shore. This is the latest list. It's a little more updated than what Kathleen would have given you, just because we had two towns go to age 21 last night.
Which towns were they last night? Here on the South Shore?
No.
Okay.
So we have 351 cities and towns, and we're up to 197 that have had at the local level up the age from 18 to 21. And so this does represent, if you'll see on the back, it does represent 79% of the population, and we are aiming to probably get to about 85% of that population by the deadline set by the new state law, which is December 30th. So we are actually aiming to not have this patchwork quilt. We are aiming to have cities and towns go up to 18 to 21. So there isn't this confusion around you must be 21 unless you were born before unless you were changed. I can't even say it. You must be 21 until unless you turned 18 before December 30th, 2018. So we are trying to reduce the confusion. It has been great in the last week that the FDA has talked about both menthol cigarettes and the addiction quality of Juul cigarettes to our high school kids. But we don't expect anything fast to happen from the FDA. It rarely does. We are always ahead of them at the state and local level. And so the state made this good attempt to go to 21, but it has this weird language that cities and towns are able to fix if they can get to it with an effective date before December 30th. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? And I think for myself in the beginning, and I see Hanover, all the way back to January 1st, 2016, they approved it, 21. And that was patchwork. And I'm of the same mind. I'm thinking, this whole thing, you just go across town lines and get the stuff. But this is less and less of a patchwork, and basically, the state thing is coming in January 1st. No matter what we do, the state thing's coming in. The only thing we're doing different here is eliminating that 3-year grandfather for someone who's 18 and saying, if you were 18 on December 30th, you can buy them for a few more years. To me, it makes enforcement more difficult. It makes the whole thing more difficult. And I think this is certainly a lot less patchwork than it was before. In my opinion, I think this is a good thing, and I think we proposed this as an idea to say, look, if we're gonna do it, that's just it. Let's just do it. So, anybody else got a comment?
I just wanted to express to these two gentlemen, you mentioned the whole small business side of it, and I certainly do understand that. growing up, my parents had a package store. So similar age requirement kind of thing, and I certainly understand like the whole carting and that kind of stuff, and there's always gonna be that one business that you can sneak out of. Kind of hard to really, eliminate that completely. But we are trying to be more proactive than reactive with this whole process, and with their help and the FDA eventually, federal, takes a while, a lot more pub ed going out there about the dangers of it all. Yes, vaping is safer than tobacco cigarettes, but it's not completely safe. There is a danger, to it. But I think this is definitely needed, and I really think we're gonna be able to stop some of the, halt some of the younger ones that should not have this, where they can't your brains can't handle the nicotine. The brain doesn't really stop developing until around the age 25, maturing. So even at 18, 19, and 20, the brains, are still developing and can't quite handle the drug, which is basically what it is.
Definitely a question for you. Can we look in the regulations about the vaping?
It's the definition.
That includes, whether it's choose.
Right here, so section 3, I mean,
Doesn't use the word vaping, that's why.
Yeah, that's a
If that is
more solid definition to cover it.
So I just want to add one thing, that the Board of Health is in no way trying to harm any business, but this is going to happen anyway, so it's better, we felt, I think for myself that it was better approach to do it this way, because when we instituted our tobacco regulations, we had a lot of fines. And we don't want to see that happen, so this is the easiest way for us to transition into the law change that's gonna take place anyway. We had a lot of people fined more than once with our new tobacco regulations, with the enforcement out there, and that's not something we'd like to see. So by doing this, it should make the whole process a whole lot easier.
Can I just say one more thing? I am in favor of a 21 plus, but I feel very strongly about a grandfather date. I really do. And to say, like I keep hearing the word confusion, to say that there's some sort of confusion to figure out 2 dates is like an insult to the intelligence of anyone working behind the counter of a store. I mean, it's 2 dates. It's very easy to figure out. And I feel strongly about that.
Well, I was involved when alcohol changed from 18 to 21, I was impacted by that. So then I wasn't allowed to drink.
And how did you feel? You felt like you still had rights, right? Like you know what I mean? Like you should still have rights. I mean, if someone's not already 18, they know that they can't buy tobacco products or vaping products till they're 21. That's fine. But someone that's 18, 19, 20 years old, it's just like, yeah, you don't matter.
That was
Yeah, you don't have any rights.
With alcohol, I was like right before every time I got within reach of that bottle. The state upped it a year.
Yeah.
Next year they did it again.
It's kind of tough to
21.
associate alcohol
It's-
and nicotine in the same conversation, though, right?
both happen for me.
Right. Well,
Well, when you wrap
one will
your
kill
cover in
you,
a tree,
yeah, and the other one won't.
Well,
Make all the,
No one ever overdosed on nicotine. Let's put it that way.
People have.
yeah.
Toddler died in upstate New York from drinking e-cigarettes.
Oh, okay.
Your comments, I take your comments very seriously. But I think at the same time, with the amount of neighboring towns, I don't see this as a patchwork. I think we're just closing one of the patches, is what I see. So, any more comments or questions? All right, do I give a motion?
Make a motion that we implement the regulations effective December 20th. The new regulations,
As written.
as written.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor? Aye, let's vote. December 20th.
Now, will you come to,
They have it up there.
do you wanna add anything to what you're gonna be doing?
Yeah, just so, now this is signed, I will be, as I said, out to the retailers to give you guys information. And so that way I wanna educate you, so when the compliance checks are done further down in 2019, you have everything you need from me, any questions. As I said, the signage I'll bring out, and educate any of your employees if you want. Whatever you need, I'm gonna come out and talk to you and give it to you.
Motion to adjourn public hearing.
Motion to adjourn the public hearing?
All in favor?
Phone number one.